Question here from a Gep Pardiola that says, with a very interesting photo, he said, "Who is better, Saka or Foden?"
Foden.
Oh, this is what we do all the time, isn't it? When both players have a good game, who's better then? Who's better? I think they're both quality. If I'm honest with you, I think Phil Foden is an exceptional talent. I look at what Saka is doing in an Arsenal shirt, and it's more than impressive. I think we're both going to stick up for our own boys here. I don't think that's going to surprise anybody. I look at what Saka's doing at 22, and I compare him to what some of the other top talents were doing at 22. I think it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I think he gets a lot of disrespect. He scored, I think it's 13 goals or 12 goals and 7 assists now this season. And he's having a shocking season, according to many neutral fans. I think he's carried Arsenal for the best part of 3 years. Phil Foden has a bad game. He's fine. KDB, Bernardo Silva, Haaland, they sort him out. Saka was carrying Arsenal when we had Mustafi in the team and Bellerin and players like El Neni and all these guys. And I don't think Saka's been surrounded by that top talent. And Saka, to me, has done it on the world stage for country in the Euros and the World Cup. I didn't see Foden doing what Saka was doing in those competitions. And also, I think as well, when you look at what some of the greats were doing at his age, Salah couldn't get into a Chelsea side at that age. You look at what, people are sitting there, as some of the Spurs fans say to me that Kulusevski's better. Come on, do me a favour. Like, really? Let's just go there. It's embarrassing. And you look at what some of those players like the KDBs of that world were doing at these sides. They couldn't get into the Chelsea setup. So for me, I think Saka is a special talent. However, whenever you're comparing these two players, it makes you sound like the other ones. You're saying the other one's crap. And that's absolutely not what I'm doing. We're very, very lucky to have these two lads in the England setup. And along with Jude Bellingham, Harry Kane, Declan Rice, we've got to go win that Euros, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think the problem is with the world-class conversation is when you hear people debating, they're often not debating each other on who is or isn't world-class. When you actually listen to the debate, they're actually arguing over what they consider a world-class player to be. So, for instance, I understand Rio Ferdinand's argument. Foden has done it in title races, big Champions League runs, multiple trophy-winning seasons. And I heard Graham Souness say this on the radio today, not about these two, but, when he was at Liverpool, they spoke, winning the league was, really did highlight how good a team and how good individual players were, especially when it comes to handling the pressure. And I agree with all of that. I think that's all really true. That's why I rate Foden so highly. So I think there's a difference between having a world-class talent and maybe being a world-class player, if that makes sense. But I think they're both, again, I'm not sitting on the fence here. I think they're both brilliant. And my issue, as you've said, is when these debates come up, it turns into one's good, one's bad. And I find it really hard to talk to anybody that has that view on this debate because they're both sensational. I'd love them both at Man United. And it's one of those. But if I was to pick one and sign one for my club, I'm still probably just edging for Foden. And the reason why I'm edging for Foden is because I've seen him do it in title runs, Champions League runs, etc. I think Saka will deliver when it comes to those areas. It's one I think he will deliver. He's already starting to in the last couple of games. I think he can deliver and do it.
Can I turn the question slightly then?
Go on, Em.
If Saka and Foden both play for City, who's having the better season? It's going to be Saka.
Based on what?
Yeah, based on what, bro? Even got
so I think for me, if you look at what Saka will do on that right-hand side for City, I think it would be. I won't say. I think it would be scary, man. And maybe, I don't think
if Saka was at City, if Saka was at City last year, he wouldn't even play, bro. He wouldn't even played.
Say that again, LB. Sorry,
if Saka was at City last year, he wouldn't even played. He would have been in the exact same situation Cole Palmer was in.
Nah, man, no.
He's better than Cole Palmer, though.
No. That's what I said.
Saka will play because Saka's better than Jack Grealish. So
Saka's better than Grealish and Doku and.
So what? Saka plays left wing.
He's better on the left wing than.
He's not going to play left wing. He's not going. What the point is, I'm talking about the right wing situation. He's not getting another Maris. He's not getting another Bernardo Silva, so he wouldn't even played last year for City.
See, I think Foden though is better on the left than he is on the right, or centrally. So you could. I think
Foden will
if
get it.
Saka
Foden
was
can play
genuinely,
anywhere.
if Saka was genuinely at City, I don't know whether he'd be better than Foden, but I think he'd be in the City team because I think he's barring Mahrez who left. I think he's better than everybody else you've got on your team that plays on the left or right, barring Foden. I think Saka is better.
I wouldn't have him above Bernardo Silva.
I don't look at Silva in that inside forward role. I see him more of a centre midfielder.
I think Saka
he played right wing last year.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Not,
he did. To be
yeah,
fair.
but you can't say he would deliver better than Bernardo Silva until he's done it. Can you?
No, yeah, but this
One
is the question.
One of the problems that Saka's had is he's not had Champions League.
You can't say that as a question. That's the question, though, mate.
Yeah, but I'm asking you. Well, would you say?
Right, we're saying Saka would deliver at Man City. Listen, I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't go to Man City.
But you can't say that because you don't know.
You know, and you can't because you don't know either. That's what I'm saying. So you don't know he won't deliver like Bernardo Silva. You don't know that.
Okay, but even if he did, I'm saying he wouldn't even play.
I'm asking you by saying,
yeah, but he wouldn't even play at City, bro. This is the point I'm making. If he comes to City,
he would, man. I think Pep would
so
actually love him.
He'd play in front of Bernardo Silva on that right hand side.
I think he'd play him on the right hand side, Saka. Yeah,
I
think other than Salah, he's the best right winger in the league. I think. Other than Salah,
I wouldn't play him above Bernardo Silva. No chance.
Do you think he'd score? Do you think he would? Do you think Saka would score 15 goals and more assists like he did last season in City under Pep, or do you think it would be Bernardo scoring 15 goals and delivering?
What I would give you, there were certain games that I'd take Saka in that right wing position, but as soon as you get to the big games, Champions League, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, you're playing Bernardo Silva all day long. Bernardo Silva,
that might be the case. That might
be the case. This is why, by the way, this is something that's gone against Saka.
That is why you have a squad, though, isn't it?
Yeah, correct. But this is why I want to see Saka in these Champions League games in the knockout. This is why I want you to get the Real Madrid to support the Bayerns. Well, not Bayern.
Cool. So I want to see that as well.
You know,
he's only been Bayern.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone wants Bayern, but I think these are the games now where you'll see how good Saka is. Yeah, properly. And we all know he can score goals in the Premier League. Like, he's done that for a few years now. That's not up for debate. What's up for debate now is people are saying he's world class. Well, to do that, Champions League. Let's see how he gets on against the best teams in the world. Let's see. Because he's never had a Champions League.
I think he will. He's done it in the Prem. He's done it at the World Cup. I don't see why he's done it in the group stages for Arsenal. He scored some really big and important goals. I don't see why he doesn't deliver in the knockout stages. Bukayo Saka. I get your point. He's got to do it. I feel a bit of the same. I feel slightly the same. This is going to trigger people before they listen to what I say. I feel similarly about Kylian Mbappe. I know he's going to deliver in La Liga, or if he came to the Prem, but he's going to go La Liga. But until he's done it, he doesn't have a domestic pedigree for me. Everything he's done in France, I couldn't care less about. The world don't care about it. No one. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. His Champions League form is amazing. What he's done internationally for France is amazing, but he has no domestic pedigree yet. So I understand where you're coming from with Saka. He doesn't have a European pedigree as of yet, but I think he will deliver. I think he'll score goals. I think he'll get assists. I think he'll have important games for Arsenal. And as long as Arsenal stay in the Champions League, he'll stay there for a long time. So what's he, 22 years of age? But yeah, both players are great. They're not as talented as Kobe Mainu, but they're both highly talented players. Highly talented players. Both better than Jack Grealish anyway, who I like to call Luke Chadwick. Comparing what you get. Comparing Saka to Mbappe is a crime. I didn't compare the players in any way, shape, or form. I compared the scenarios. The scenarios, not the individual players, my friend. The logic, not the individual players, my friend. There is a fundamental difference in those two things, and that's obviously about the Mainu comment. It's called a joke. Relax your brains. Some super chats here. Saka would probably still be playing right back if he was at City. Trophies are the reason for the disrespect for Saka.
Well, yeah, and again, I would also say that like people like to say, oh, well, you know, Foden's not played as many games or many minutes or whatever as Saka, but Foden's broke into a Manchester City team that had the likes of Mahrez out on that right side, Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, David Silva, Ilkay Gundogan. There is no other right winger at Arsenal. I mean, so it's a bit of a stupid comparison, really. They both had their individual journeys.
It's hard to compare them two because I think they're very different players as well, to be fair. I don't think it's like comparing two players in one position. They both can only play in this position. Which one of them's getting the nod? because Foden doesn't really play on the right hand side for Man City week in, week out, does he? So
yeah. I also think if you look at City's players now, Doku is more like Saka with a bit more flair, quite direct, wide player. Where Foden for me is a little bit more intricate, ball to feet. So there is differences in how they play. Another super chat's come in though. It's a good question or a good point from Hammy. He says Foden wouldn't be able to do what Saka has done for Arsenal. Saka can easily do what Foden has done. Do you think if Foden was at Arsenal, he would have helped carry a team through this last 4 years, which he's looking very good now, but was very turbulent, LB? Do you think Foden could have done that?
I really don't get what this gas is about. It carried Arsenal. What have Arsenal done? What's he carried them to? What, top
Mate,
4?
Hardly anything, mate. He's carried us to hardly anything because without him, we would have been an absolute disgrace of a team, mate, in the last few years.
Yeah, but we're just disrespecting what Odegaard's done. We're just disrespecting what Martinelli did last year. What Thomas Partey did last year. What Saliba did last year.
Forget last year, bro. We're not talking about last year, mate. Last year, he didn't carry Arsenal because we were a good side that went for the title.
So when did he carry it?
Did you watch us? Did you watch us before that, bro?
Yeah, but bro, to say he carried you, I think that's a little bit. Come on,
fifth,
man.
we were coming, man. We would have been absolutely disgraced if you were.
So he carried you to 8th.
Yeah, he did.
Nice. It must be fucking mega if he carried you to 8th. Well done.
That's how embarrassing it was.
What a player.
That's how embarrassing it was back then, mate.
That'd be patronising LB.
So listen, I don't think if you would have put Foden in that Arsenal side, I don't think you would have gone. Yeah, forget Saka. This is the kid that everyone's looking at. I honestly don't. So yeah, do you know what? I think that's a good way of reversing what I asked in terms of if Saka got in the Man City side, who apparently isn't good enough to get in it. So
it's not. He wouldn't have got in the City team last year. It's just a fact. He wouldn't have got in it.
Okay, mate. If you wouldn't have gone for that, wouldn't have gone for Saka. Last year's form,
I don't think he would have gone for Saka.
Because Bernardo Silva, who, in my opinion, is brilliant central attacking midfielder, gets forced out on the right because Saka ain't good enough. Nah, man. Nah.
Mahrez, is he better than Mahrez?
I think Mahrez is probably one of the best we've seen in the league on right wing. But he didn't play every game. He was playing FA Cup games and squad games. He couldn't get ahead of Bernardo Silva.
Last season, I wouldn't say career-wise he's been better than him, but I think last season is a great point. This here from Abraham Glazer says, what has Saka won?
It's not about what you win in football, though, is it, really, in terms of your quality? That's what I will say. If it was, then Di Matteo is better than Wenger as a manager because Di Matteo won a Champions League and Wenger never did.
He's also had big moments, though, hasn't he, to help his team win stuff. And he's the penalty that he missed at West Ham. Did he miss one for England as well? That was all big moments that he's missed. Pressure moments. That goes against him.
19-year-old kid, man, missing a penalty.
I'm not the one forcing him into the conversation.
But I'm saying that if you're judging him on his ability, missing a penalty at 19 years old in a Euros final, that's incredibly harsh.
What I'm saying is, if people want to force him into the conversation and say he's this, and this, you have to look at stuff like that. Because Jude Bellingham's at Real Madrid tearing up trees. He's what, 20?
Oh yeah, no. Listen, you can compare other players of top quality, but I just think that's harsh to look at that penalty and say he's missed it. So he can't do it at top level because he's missing penalties.
Yeah, but if he would have scored the penalties though, Dan, yeah, and he helped the teams win the trophies, people again,
who has what?
I guarantee if he would have scored those penalties, against West Ham and for England and help the teams win the trophies, Arsenal fans would be saying, "Oh, look, you can also score the goals to help us in the pressure moments."
Yeah, but he has done, he has scored penalties and he has scored big moment goals. If you look at his top 6 goals he scored against top 6 clubs, I think he scored against them all.
Yeah, no, bro, you miss it. Yeah, but I agree. I think he's a good player. I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, you can't just dismiss the fact that he's not won anything. When he's had the chance in big moments to score goals which could have helped win him silverware, and he's missed them both.
Oh, he's only really won. He's only really, if you look at it, what could he have won? He could have won with England in the final, and he could have won. He could have won the Premier League title with Arsenal last season. I don't think anyone really had us down to win it, but I don't think he's been in amazing opportunities to go. Oh my god, like he just keeps his Saka. It's on Saka. He keeps missing penalties. Arsenal ain't winning trophies because of Saka. I think that's not. I don't think that's the case, man.
Breathe Greatness says world-class Foden can't even get into his country's team ahead of Saka.
That's because we've got an absolute idiot in charge of the country, man.
He will now, though. He will now.
Yeah, he will. Especially with Rashford.
Can't not put him in now.
Saying Saka carried Arsenal is like saying Harry Kane carried Spurs. How did that help Harry Kane?
That's a fair comment, and that is a very good comparison. Carrying the team is actually not saying carrying them to a title or carrying them to a trophy. It's just basically giving some actual damn respect to the club, which without that player you wouldn't have had.
Well,
Do you know what I'm
Man
saying?
United, we had a player that carried us for a long time in the last decade. He stopped us from coming mid-table, and that was David De Gea. For instance, like without some
There you
seasons,
go,
without
there you go,
David De Gea, when we finished 4th and 5th, we would have been 10th and 11th without that guy. So, yeah.
I suppose
logic
the word carrying is a bit of a strange term. I think it's probably being the outstanding player consistently, the one that you're looking at in that team, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose for the situations United were in with De Gea and where you were at the beginning of Saka's career, those two players stopped you being even worse than you were.
That's my
I
point.
think it's probably a better way of phrasing it.
Yeah,
I think Foden would have left Arsenal after 2 seasons. Again, I think if Arsenal,
what does he mean by that?
Well, I think Arsenal, if Arsenal hadn't got to where they are now of challenging for titles, I don't even think Saka would be there now. I think if he would have carried on improving,
I think he means like obviously Arsenal are no good, so Foden would have got out of there. That's what.
Maybe. Yeah. For me, I think Aubameyang actually carried Arsenal.
That's fair for the FA Cup year in 2020, but Saka wasn't even getting into the side then, so because he was 17 or 18.
Has Foden scored those important goals for City?
Foden scored important goals for City.
Name the games.
Tottenham at home, scored a header, and in one of his first games in midfield, won 1-0. We went on to win the league. He's got a big goal against Dortmund. Did he score big goals? Yeah.
They're contribution goals, man. They're not like big moment goals.
What, 1-0 against Spurs? So we
got a header against Spurs once.
Bro, you asked me a question. Fucking hell.
Now, listen, I've got to give you credit. You come straight out answering it. Some people say that and they go, I don't know what games he actually scored in. People do that kind of thing. Big up LB.
Yeah, that was
and he hasn't shouted at me. Take Foden out of City. It doesn't affect them. Take Saka out of Arsenal and we struggle. But do you know what, Emmanuel? Yeah, Emmanuel, I'm going to challenge that, though, and back.
That's the squad, man. That's not.
We're comparing how good each individual is. Yeah. That doesn't change. People say that about Scholes can't be better than Gerrard because Gerrard didn't have as many quality players around him. That doesn't stop him. Like Messi played in maybe the greatest club team ever. Does that make Messi less good because he played with Xavi and Iniesta and had Pep as his manager? Of course it doesn't. It doesn't work like that.